Best possible summon and where to get it? No problem. Your pony up here. Let me show you what you get. The best possible summon is actually yourself. Yes, it's called a mimic tier. And the very good thing about the mimic tier is it essentially gives you yourself. And if you're playing with, for example, a bleeding weapon, the bleed buildup is being done by both of you. So you essentially double bleed buildup and you get yourself. The good thing is that the mimic tier takes HP points and not mana points to summon, which means that despite this guy here, 104 FP, 113 FP, they're good. I mean, like the freaking Banished Knight, Oleg, Omen Killer, Rollo, and Luthor the Headless, they're insane. But they all cost mana to summon, whereas the other gentlemen, you can easily summon with just using your life. And that is fantastic about the Mimic tier. So you can summon it very at the beginning of a boss fight, heal yourself up, and then you get yourself going with you. And the good thing is, if you have magic, they do magic. If you have potions, they do potions. And then you can together go into battle and beyond. Despite beating the game, I for some reason haven't gotten this gentleman yet down. But you see, my little summon is with me. And he's doing good damage, and he's also blocking the hits. Now, obviously, if you're not interested in summons, Mimic tier ain't for you, right? But it's really like making a lot of things that you might not be able to do otherwise tremendously easier. The Godskin duo and other shenanigans, that is something that you can definitely kill way better when you get your Mimic tier. Also, if you actually look at it, like the Mimic tier survives a lot of punishment. I mean, right now we're just taking a beating here, right? Because we really can't be asked to actually super focus. Oh, by the way, Melania's weapon. You know, Melania, the one crazy queen that life steals when she attacks. Yeah, you can get her weapon. Super useful. And the thing is, the bosses do focus obviously on your Mimic tier. And do you see how much HP that thing has, right? And it does use potions again. And it can even execute. I mean, obviously, if you have your Mimic tier, it's bad to actually execute because you both want to be hitting the boss. And yes, he also uses your ability. Now, where would you get that Mimic tier? That's actually extremely simple, but you do have to do certain steps to get there. So step number 1, in order to get the Mimic tier, you do need to kill Radahn. I'm sorry. Use whatever summon you have at your disposal. Use whatever tools. I beat him without summons. It's possible. But you have to essentially get into the castle and beat Radahn. For one weird reason, some people have been getting like dual fights here. And when I get into this, I didn't get a single fight at all. That's probably because I killed this guy and this guy first. And they are ending up here as ghosts. So I'm not entirely sure, but a friend of mine actually had fights. And then you have to murder Mr. Radahn. And as soon as you murder Mr. Radahn, there drops a star from the sky. And that scar slaps very close here to Limgrave, Fort Hyde West. And if you go for Limgrave, Fort Hyde West, you can actually go into this devastation here, which leads you down here into Nokrin, the Eternal City. Let me quickly show you the way. You just have to really go up to the hole that is destroyed here, and then you just work your way downwards. So you can see there's a couple of ledges and ridges and ditches. So you can just jump down and then make your way down to Nokrin, the Eternal City. And again, after you beat Scourge Radahn, and then you just make your way down here. You see there, you have to go all the way to the side, and then you get down to Nokrin. We'll not be walking the whole way. We'll just show you the beginning. And then you're into Nokrin, the Eternal City. And as you go for Nokrin, which is breathtakingly beautiful, by the way, you actually have to find yourself. Because there is a boss fight that you can straight run for. So you can ignore all these gentlemen. I mean, you can check for Graveworth if you want to, because there's always these upgrades for your spirits. Since you obviously do want to get your spirit to +10 at some point, because yes, the more you update your spirit, the more damage it does, the more resilient it is. You essentially just walk past here, past those weird gentlemen with their whips. Don't get eaten by the sludge. And end up at this location, where usually you're going to be fighting a boss. That is right here. So again, kill Scourge Radahn. Very easy. Get here, teleport in, murder him. Then to Fort Hyde West. Down to Nokron, Eternal City. And then you walk up to this boss and you kill him, and it's just a copy of yourself. Obviously, depending on how hard you are yourself, you might have an issue killing it. After killing the Mimic tier, you still have steps to do to get the tier ashes. So you murdered your own Mimic, but we're actually heading for, and that is down here, the Ancestral Woods, and then the Knight's Sacred Ground. That's kind of like the area that we're heading for. Is also what you need to do for the rounding quest. So you do see this city to your left. If you do not want to watch the ride, just go straight up for the timestamp in the description below if you already have all of this unlocked. And you're essentially just riding along here. It would be great if we could just jump over to shortcut this, but that sadly doesn't work. So you do actually have to ride down the bridge or take the grace. And you go straight down here and you hold yourself to the left. Important. Because we're aiming with one eye the whole time to get to that city. Ignore these people. Very annoying to kill. There is a boss event here, though, where you have to light some of those pillars. Hashtag spoiler alert. And then it goes straight up in here. So that would be grace number 1, where you could be getting at. And then we need a little bit parkour view. So you need to jump over here. Go alongside this. Now you fall on the ledge. Walk along here. Jump to the right. So we're essentially, if you're looking at the map, that's where we are. You go over to the next ledge. Jump down on the top of the balcony. Go over. There's some of these tiers that are going to be turning into people. Ignore them. You don't need to fight them. You're going alongside the next ledge. Don't fall down to the right side. And what you're looking for is this overpath that you want to walk along. Most important. Now we're going down. Altar has an item. Snag the item. And then you're going for the right. All in all, we're here now. Okay, we went from here over, and we went here. And there's this gentleman guiding a chest. And you need the keys, obviously, here. The normal stone keys. I think 1 is it. So bring one of them. And you get that person murdered. And here are the Mimic tier ashes. Thank you, comments, for making me aware that I missed my last 2 minutes of render to actually add to this. Very appreciated. And then when you're recording a YouTube video, for some reason you stumble up in a new boss area where you get a gargoyle. And again, summon your Mimic tier, take some damage, heal up, have that Mimic tier, run away. And could just watch my Mimic tier essentially win this. When you see the damage he's doing, right? Go, little Mimic tier. You can do this. It's powerful as it goes. I mean, it's obviously plus 10, and this is like, you know, further in. And the good thing is, stagger monsters too. So your Mimic tier goes for, oh my goodness, there's another gargoyle coming. Oh, would you look at that? And yes, if you're having attacks like I have here on my weapon, your Mimic actually does use these attacks as well. As we mentioned before. So if you're having like a huge bleed build-up bonus through your magical spells. Oh. Ow. Well, luckily you don't do any damage. Bro, why are you so mean to my mimic? we're just mobbing this guy. Poor dude. Get mimic tiered. So I used my mimic tier to kill Melania. Otherwise, I didn't use it because Melania is obviously super pain in the buttsies. Oh, it's actually cool. You get a Gargoyle Twin Blade. You do get a Gargoyle Twin Blade? Oh, baby. Where'd you get that then, huh? That's kind of cool. I mean, I didn't know this area existed. I didn't know there was a boss like this. So I guess today I learned, once again, something more, that with patience and discovering things, you do find more things. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you learned something here. You can summon your beautiful spirit here. You can get it out together, and then together you can fight for victory, harmony, and destruction. Really, the best possible summon that you can get. And, well, you only have to kill Radahn for that, so the earlier you get to kill Radahn, the better. Technically, you can get super early to Radahn, because if you're going to this ruin here, the Dragonburn ruins, there is going to be a fake chest that brings you to the mines over here, the Celia Crystal Tunnel. So you could technically straight up right down here, teleport to Radahn, and challenge him. The earlier you kill him, the better, because as soon as Radahn is down, you can go down to Nokron. So you just have to kill him, and you can go actually down, and you can go there without any waiting time. The earlier you do it, the earlier you get mimicked here, and the sooner you can start clapping some cheeks. Obviously, the question is how early can you kill Radahn yourself, personally, with your skill set? But then again, you do have other summons too, so you can use your Gravegraph Worth to update the other summons. So the Mimic tier is obviously the beginning, but you do have your Wolves and your other shenanigans that you get in the beginning that you might use to aid your battle against Radahn, that when you then beat him, you're able to get the Mimic tier, and from that on, it's going to be a very easy sailing boss-wise. If you're not necessarily playing Magic, that makes anyways everything a little bit easier. And yes, we're also going to have a mage guide for you. But here now, you have the two other guides. You have the parry guide and the basic comic guide. I hope this helped you. My name is Ponyhealth. Don't forget to subscribe to find your way back for more. See you in the next video.